Hello and welcome to the video series of local file inclusion and remote file inclusion. In the last two videos, we have seen how a file can be included remotely, which can lead to remote command execution, and from there we were able to gain access to the system. Now in this video, we will see another form of RFI. So let me show you the code which we will be using in this video. So we have Ubuntu machine and then Kali machine. IP address of this machine is IP address on this machine is 192.168.100.145, and the code which we will use in this case is this one. So again we have a parameter to include the file, but this time whatever file we will include, attacker has configured a code to append the .html extension, and then that file will be included. So let me go back to the Kali machine, log in this, go to the browser, and now we have RFI folder and RFI.2.php. Now this time it says file included and the remote file to be fetched, and then .html will be appended. So let me try to fetch local file, for example home.php. Now this time, in last video we were able to see the content of home.php, but this time the code is appending .html extension. Now we have home.php.html. So if I try to include contact.php, and it is appending contact. So it is taking contact.php.html as a file. So how we can bypass this extension? So let me try to include a file, or in fact let's say we have that simple backdoor PHP. Now copy this simple backdoor PHP to, for example, simple back.php.html. So now we have double extension. So simple back.php.html, and let me start the Wireshark as well here on this machine. So first we will try start the capture and filter for HTTP traffic. Try to include the file simple-backdoor.php, and let me quickly do a small change here. New terminal. So simple.backdoor.php.html, this file does exist here, so let me remove this from the directory. Let me copy this and paste. So we do not have this file now. Go to browser. I'm trying to include simple-backdoor.php. Now it says it is trying to include simple-backdoor.php.html. Go to Wireshark. I could see a GET request back from 145 to 129. So that means RFI does exist here. So I can include remote files. But this time it is trying to get simple-backdoor.php.html file, which does not exist. So it says 404 not found. So one simple way to bypass this is we will try to include this file simple-back.php.html. So simple-back.php.html. Now this file does exist. Apache version here is vulnerable to double extensions. So first extension will be processed first, and that will be treated as .php, and the code will be executed there. So let me try to include that. So 192.168.100.129 simple-back.php.html, enter. I'm not able to include the file, so let me check the permissions, or in fact change the permission to simple-backdoor.php.html. and if we see that in the logs, simple-back.php.html, now it says not found. Simple-back.php.html, yeah, it does exist. Go to browser again and then try to include the file. Again, I'm not able to include it. And if I verify in the logs, simple-back.php.html, that's what we have. Simple-back SIMPLA. So file name looks okay. So due to some reason, let me try to restart my Apache services. Maybe some issue with the Apache. Okay. So now we have simple-back.php.html. Go to browser again. And try to include this. Still, it is not being included. So let me verify the IP. It is correct. And let's say copy simple backdoor-php to simple backdoor-php.html. Change the permissions backdoor.php.html. Go to browser. Now try to include this file, simple backdoor.php.html. Again, I'm not able to include the file. Okay, so let's see what is the issue here. So service Apache 2 status, it is running. Now Wireshark says request is coming in from 145 to 129 for simple-backdoor.php.html. So here you see we are getting multiple requests. So now I got what mistake we are doing. So we need not to append this HTML. So the code itself will append the HTML, and we do have that .html file there. So let's execute this, and now I can include this. Give ampersand to pass on the parameters, and then ls. So I can include the file remotely with just changing the extension from .php to php.html, and now I can execute the commands. So pwd, then fconfig. So I can execute basically commands now. So now we need to gain the system access. So that is one way of getting a remote command execution. And if I include, for example, cat shell 2.php, so this is for 192, perfect. So I need to have this shell 2.php to shell 2.php.html, HTML, then start the listener, then include file, which is shell 2.php. So I can see cursor is being rotating, the code is being executed, and in few seconds I should see a response back from that victim machine to the attacker machine. So we are listening on port number 1234, and here we have a shell. So if you execute ifconfig, we are on 192, 168, 100 or 145. So there are other ways too how we can bypass this extension. For example, again start the listener on 1 2 3 4, go to browser again, and in the browser, so we can have question marks, and after question, the question mark is being treated as a parameter in case of PHP. So after this, .html will be treated as a parameter against this variable. So if I am doing shell2.php question mark, so the request will be terminated at shell2.php, and then .html will be considered as a parameter. So we will see that in Wireshark and how does it happen. So for example, okay, so go to browser, do that. Again, I could see code is being executed. If you go to Wireshark, in the Wireshark now, I see shell2.php, then variable, and then we have a parameter which will be considered as .html. So code is being executed for shell2.php. Again, we have bypassed the extension here. So if you go back to the CLI, we have a shell now again, and if you type fconfig, we are again on victim machine, which is 192.168.100.145. So there are other ways too how you can bypass this force extension which has been created by the developer. So that's all for this video. I hope you are enjoying this video series. Thank you very much for watching this video.